Unsettled weather returns to Texas, often on thunderstorm chances for the next week, and some of those storms could be on the rowdy side. Let's talk about who may be dealing with flying chunks of ice in this Tuesday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Good morning, it's Tuesday, the 23rd of April, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Bully-in-Chief David Reimer, and yeah, we're going to be heading back into an unsettled weather pattern now that we have enjoyed like a day of dry conditions across the northern 75% of Texas. It was still storming and pouring yesterday in South Texas, but South Texas, you're going to miss out on a lot of this weather mischief over the next week, so y'all will get to dry out a bit, warm back up, and enter, for all intent and purposes, early summer, which is not too atypical for the Rio Grande Valley in South Texas as we get towards the final days of April. Let's just get started with the severe weather outlook for this afternoon, this evening. Now, pretty small area geographically, portions of the Big Country, northwest Texas. The potential for isolated to widely scattered severe thunderstorms between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. this evening. Storms will develop, slowly move east-southeast, and then weaken and dissipate a few hours after sunset or during the mid to late evening hours. At least the severe weather threat will diminish. Strongest storms, really any storm that gets going today, we probably won't have many, but storms could have hail up to the size of tennis balls and localized damaging wind gusts. And again, that threat mainly between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. and over a relatively small area geographically. The Big Country north of Interstate 20, east of Interstate 27 in West Texas, pretty much along and south of the Red River, northwest Texas. So for tomorrow, the potential for a storm or two, lower than today, chances are, across the Concho Valley, the Big Country, northwest Texas. If we manage to get a storm tomorrow afternoon, same time frame, same threats. It would have big hail, but the chances look lower tomorrow than today. In terms of what the high-res rapid refresh model is showing, well, here you go. As we get into this afternoon, you can see storms try to get it going about 4 to 5 p.m. They pop up. We do notice that little booger down in portions of the... There we go. Edwards Plateau. I can't totally rule out a storm down there, but again, storms dissipating by about 10 p.m., give or take, leaving us mostly quiet tonight. Maybe a few showers, drizzle across the eastern half of Texas to start off Wednesday morning, and then really, we're probably not going to have a whole lot to talk about late tomorrow afternoon through tomorrow evening in Texas. Maybe some scattered showers late tomorrow night, and then maybe some storms up in Oklahoma. But for Texas, the probability of being able to bust through that cap east of the dry line, the Concho Valley, the Big Country, northwest Texas, only about 10 to 20% today, closer to 40 to 50%. So, I mean, if a storm goes, it'll have big hail, strong winds, it'll dissipate a few hours after sunset. Now, in terms of wildfire danger over the next few days across the state, well, today, tomorrow, highest threat across portions of the Panhandle, West Texas, into the borderland, the Big Bend, the Trans-Pecos, Davis, Guadalupe Mounds, and then we notice that potential does increase on Thursday for those same areas. All right, let's take a look at the longer range weather pattern, specifically as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The potential for a pretty gnarly storm system to come in on Saturday to cause all sorts of issues, but Thursday, the potential for scattered severe thunderstorms will exist as an upper-level jet streak comes on in. We'll take a look at that potential here in a minute on a graphic, but the storms we could have by late afternoon, very large hail up to the size of baseballs, damaging winds, a few tornadoes. And then as we get into late Thursday night and Friday morning, a line of thunderstorms moving east across portions of the Panhandle, West Texas, maybe the Permian Basin, depending on how far south storms form, east into northwest Texas, Texoma, the Big Country, the Concho Valley, North Texas, Friday morning. And again, that will be a line of storms Thursday afternoon after 3 to 4 p.m. Isolated scattered supercell thunderstorms possible. East of the dry line, those storms will move east-northeast. The potential for large hail up to the size of baseballs, damaging straight line winds, perhaps a tornado or two. And then that line of storms later in the evening would move east, the potential for some hail and strong wind gusts as storms move into portions of Texoma, the big country, North Texas. Friday morning, the threat for severe storms would decrease, but some locally heavy rainfall, small hail, gusty winds would continue. Then as we get into Friday afternoon, Friday evening, perhaps a bit of a reintensification of those storms in northeast Texas, east Texas, maybe the Brazos Valley. Weather model data is still kind of out there and showing different solutions. Some data suggests yes, some data suggests we're just going to have isolated scattered storms across the northeastern quarter of Texas Friday afternoon that don't really get themselves all that rambunctious. It'll be something we watch for. And then as we get into Saturday, the potential for scattered severe thunderstorms across parts of the Panhandle, northwest Texas, Texoma, North Texas. Would be a mix probably of supercells initially during the late afternoon, early evening hours, maybe a line of storms Saturday night to Sunday morning. Now, I'll admit here, for this graphic, I actually did use the one issued for yesterday, simply because I'm on the East Coast for a couple more days, and as it stands, I have stayed up most of the night to get the data that we've already collected for today's video. Since we're talking about events still 4 to 5 days away, I'm going to go ahead and actually get a little sleep tonight, but we will have that updated outlook from the Storm Prediction Center for you posted on social media. If anything, we might see an expansion of this risk a bit further southwest, south, maybe the introduction of a slightly higher risk category, that likely zone, maybe for portions of Texoma, northwest Texas. Regardless, we're talking about an event 4 to 5 days away. This is just to give you a heads up. Hey, we're probably going to have some problems on Saturday, but we're talking about something 4 to 5 days away. Changes are likely. And then as we get into Sunday, Monday, we might have some more storms to talk about, but again, that's just getting way out into voodoo land. And again, all this, as we take a look back at the upper-level jet stream forecast, that one storm system on Saturday, you can see it going negative tilt across the southern and central plains, it departing. We have a bit of a lull on Friday, perhaps, and then that next strong upper-level storm system kicking in on Saturday with another round of severe thunderstorm potential. Forecast rain totals over the next 5 days. This would take us through 7 a.m. Sunday. You can see, yeah, we might get 1/2 to maybe 1 inch of rain across portions of Texoma, the Arklatex, northeast Texas, back down into the big country, with the potential for 1/10 to 1/2 to maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain, parts of northwest Texas, west Texas, Permian Basin, the Concho Valley, the big country down the Edwards Plateau. And again, that's really dependent on if we actually have a line of storms move from west to east Thursday night and Friday morning. If so, yeah, we could see some of these rain totals. If not, definitely going to be much more isolated and localized burst of rainfall versus, a decent widespread precipitation event. We'll keep an eye on it. Temperatures over the next few days, well, crash to the cold front is gone today. High temperatures into the 90s, West Texas, the Permian Basin, the big country, the Trans-Pecos down to the Big Bend. Otherwise, we're looking at upper 70s to middle 80s across the state. For Wednesday, a bit of a cool-off possible in the Panhandle. If we have more clouds than expected, temperatures may actually knock it out of the 50s there. Otherwise, we're expecting 70s West Texas, upper 70s, but mostly 80s across the southern 2/3 of Texas tomorrow afternoon, with the exception of the Rio Grande Plains, the Edwards Plateau, the Permian Basin, the Trans-Pecos, and the Big Bend. Y'all get 90s. Thursday's high temperature forecast warming up in the Panhandle, West Texas, considerably as y'all end up west of the dry line, at least along and west of I-27, Highway 87. Otherwise, the state, we're looking at mostly 80s to middle 90s. Friday, 70s, 80s, 90s. Again, you get the picture here. We're not really looking at any significant cool downs anytime soon. I'm afraid this last crash to the cold front may have been one of the last we actually get, especially for the southern half of Texas until fall. Or, as we like to call it, false fall, or early fall preview before summer number 3 or 4 returns. Saturday's high temperatures, we may be approaching the triple digits in the Big Bend, the Edwards Plateau, the Rio Grande Plains, still middle to upper 80s across the rest of Texas. All right, that's it for your Tuesday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. As always, you can get your local weather forecast, interactive weather radars, storm chasing video, and more in the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers where you download apps for your device. We'll have live storm chasing video later this afternoon from Storm Chasers Adam Lucio, Chelsea Burnett. I don't know if Stephen Jones will be out there today. I do know meteorologist Trey Greenwood will. We'll just have to see who all is out and about, but keep an eye on the Texas Storm Chasers YouTube channel for live storm chasing video. As always, we'll keep you all updated on weather as well. Make it a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you all tomorrow morning. Have a good one. God bless.